All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 727 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football, and it's been a pretty good week overall outside of the podcast. Just living my life and just going to work through this week, for instance. And can't wait for the Christmas weekend to start. But nevertheless, we're going to talk about the signing day. Coach Clay Helton comes back with the vengeance. Bounce back from a 6-7 season to have a very, very good signing day. We're going to talk about some of these players. Well, I'm just going to give you a rundown on the players that we picked up, give my thoughts and opinions on them, because what I'm going to do in the coming weeks, I'm going to start doing some highlights on every player that we signed on signing day. I think everybody that was signed, I have the time and the resources to actually give these guys a fair shake as far as an episode. Maybe 2 guys an episode, or maybe 3 guys an episode, or maybe one person get their own episode for themselves based on what I see overall. Because a lot of these guys that are on this list, I've already watched some tape on them. I already seen what they can do. At least 20 to 30% of these guys, I've seen what these guys can do. And I'm going to tell you, I think we have a pretty good look, as far as another batch of recruits coming in. This looks really good. So we're going to talk about who we signed, and we're just going to go from there. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I am also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. You can find me on Twitter or X at VF Baller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. All right, let's just get straight into it. I can't remember the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, it's over 20, between 20 and 24 guys that we signed. And it is absolutely amazing that after everything that's going on this season, with the turmoil, the problems at quarterback, us not winning games, going on a 4 to 5 game losing streak, it was kind of dire. Thought we was going to lose some guys. Thought some guys wasn't going to come up. I know there's one person who flipped on us, but I'm kind of glad that he did. But I feel like what we bringing in is really nice. And I'm just going to run down the list of everybody who's coming in. And then from there, I'll give you my thoughts on what Coach Clay Helton has done, because I think he's done a great job with this. So first and foremost, we're going to start from the top. I'm going to have the link down in the description if you want to look at this on the Georgia Southern Eagles website, so you can look at the list for yourself. They also have a profile of each person who was signed their letter of intent. So yeah, they have their bios. So first was Mekhi Isaac, tight end, 6'4", 205 out of Warner Robins. Not too far from Georgia Southern. I mean, basically maybe an hour and 20 minutes away from Georgia Southern. Not that far. Then you get Keon Davis, wide receiver, 6'2", 190 out of Atlanta, Georgia. CJ Allen, linebacker out of Jacksonville, Florida, 6', 205. I've heard some nice things about him. Carlos Mays, another guy that I was not able to go to his game. I wanted to go, but once I started my new job, it kind of threw things for a loop, so I was not able to go. I really feel bad about that, but hopefully I'll get to see him in the blue and white. He is 6'2", 195 out of Macon, Georgia. Colin Alexander, offensive lineman out of Stockbridge, 6'5", 285. Jaquari Brown, I think I said that right, cornerback with the nice size, 6'2", 180. I mean, that's a good fit for a cornerback. Big physical, type of cornerback. You want to get a bigger cornerback on the edge, especially with these receivers nowadays that are getting a little tall as well. Also out of Warner Robins, Georgia, out of Houston County High School. Eli Anders. Now, let me tell you something about this guy here. There's got to be some type of pipeline to the North Carolina area when it comes to, I want to say this right, Hogue High School or Hugh High School. I said it right one time. I can't remember if I'm saying it right now. You got like 3 or 4 guys on this team from that high school already. So there's like some type of pipeline that Coach Clay Helton has, got with this. with this high school, and it's working very well. And Eli Anders, I don't remember him being this stout of a player. Defensive end at 6'5", 230. I mean, that is really good. I mean, I love what I see right there. That's actually pretty awesome. I think he's going to be, in my opinion, I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that's probably going to be starting day one, because, I mean, our defensive ends are a little thin. They do play pretty well. Most of our pass rush comes from the front of the front two defensive tackles. So it'll be good to have him on the outside. Really good to see. Devin Collier, safety, 5'11", 200 out of Albany, Georgia. Elijah McDowell, cornerback, another one with pretty good size. Cornerback at 6'3", 180. You got to think about it. He's bigger than some of our receivers. Out of Snellville, Georgia, South Gwinnett High School. Jordan Woolen, wide receiver, 6 foot 160 out of Hoover, Alabama. Teo Todd, I've heard some good things about this kid here, running back, 5'9", 175 out of West Point. Troup County High School. Let me tell you something. Matter of fact, today when I was at work, I went down to Troup County. I had to go down there, the LaGrange, Georgia, or something like that. And I passed by the high school. That's a nice looking high school off the interstate. Really nice looking high school off the interstate. Dorian Smith, cornerback, 6 foot 185. Another nice size running cornerback out of Fort Valley, Georgia. Antavius Murphy, wide receiver, 5'9", 185 out of Bainbridge, Georgia. Jalen Bentley, safety, 6 foot 185 out of Valdosta. Tyler Budge, I've heard some good things about this quarterback. I've heard some really good things about him, and it's going to be really interesting to see if he can develop in his system. 6'3", 205 out of Matthews, North Carolina, Weddington High School. Let's see who we got next. King Triton, I think I said that. King Triton, that's a very unique name. Samula, offensive line, 6'4", 310 out of Mableton, Georgia. That's not too far from my spot. Nasir Smith, defensive tackle, 6'4", 250 out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, Grayson High School. Bryce Baker, this is another kid from my hometown, Savannah, Georgia. I've heard some good things about him too. 6 foot 210. That is a great size to be coming in the college football. We got to watch him as well. I've seen Tyler Jordan. He just transferred out. He's probably going to be plugging right in where he is. But good to see him come from Benedict Military High School. Philip Gladney, defensive back, 6 foot 175 out of Kennesaw. That's another guy I said I was going to go to one of his games, and I wasn't able to go to that one either. Tyler Fromm, tight end, 6'5", 240 out of Warner Robins. He came from Warner Robins High School, but he's a transfer from Auburn. So that's one of our transfers that's coming in from a Power 5 school. Really interesting to see how well he does coming in, and probably going to be taking J.J. McCaffrey or Keaton Upshaw's place. So that's going to be really interesting. 2 offensive linemen, both of them are 6'3", but Cal Frazier is 310 out of Augusta, Georgia. Also, he played at Savannah State last year. That's another one of our transfers that came in. Jalen Burgess is the other offensive line that's 6'3", lineman is 6'3", 270 out of Valdosta, Georgia. And Corey Jordan, defensive tackle, 6'2", 340 pounds out of Douglasville, Georgia. Now, look, Corey Jordan at 6'2", 340, he's probably going to be, replacing Kerryon Smith. I think Kerryon Smith is transferring as well. They're about the same size. So you lose one, you bring one in, and you kind of see what you got right there. So that's basically the group of guys that we're bringing in. And I love this. I love this class. It's not too heavy on not necessarily one particular position. You could make the case and say, running back. I'm not running back, but cornerback is a little bit heavy. You got 1, 2, 3. But then again, you got 1, 2, 3 wide receivers. It's a little balanced out all over. I mean, you got players all over the place. From tight end, the defensive end, the safety, offensive line, defensive tackle. You got a couple of running backs and wide receivers. You even got one quarterback in there. And that kind of makes me think, that as well-rounded as this draft class is, are we going to go with the quarterbacks that's in our, stable now? Now, I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole nother story, that a whole nother topic we can get into with the quarterback situation. But bringing only one in, I hope we don't go into the transfer portal. I really don't. I hope we don't go there. But there's a high possibility that it may happen. So what we have here is a very well-rounded class, and it looks really good. These guys, you got big cornerbacks. You got a couple of safeties that could mix it in. One could be a free, one could be a strong. You got some defense there. Like I said, you got not just cornerback, you got some defensive backs as well. You got running back, you brought in a quarterback, got some receiver. You pretty much touch every position. Every position on the field was touched. I think the only one that we really didn't touch that much is maybe linebacker. We didn't bring in a punter. We didn't bring in a kicker. We brought in one linebacker, and that's cool because, our linebackers are pretty stout right now. I think with some of these other guys, we're going to be okay personnel wise. The main thing is that can we not turn the ball over? Because that's basically what was Georgia Southern's issue. You turn the ball over so many times that could deflate a lot of people on the team, and they just don't play up to par. But I think we're going to be okay as of right now. I don't know how things are going to play out, but starting off the next season, and I'm already hearing that other guys is going to be coming in too. We're starting off on the right foot. I will say that we're starting off on the right foot. Coach Clay Helton really did make. He made a splash. You got to give him credit. I don't like how things are ending and, being stubborn with the quarterback situation and, ending up 6-7 and finishing on a 5-game losing streak. Yeah, that sucks. But this gives you a little bit of hope of, hey, we may be able to put something together, even with maybe out of these 20 plus guys, maybe 3 or 4 of them will get on the field and make and try to make a difference on top of the guys we already have. That, to be honest, we got some pretty good playmakers on this team. I really feel it. Now I'll say this, and I'm going to get up out of here. I really feel that our quarterback really deflated this team. I really believe that. I don't think the players were that bad. I don't think the players just, were just not up to snuff. I don't think the players just fell off. I just think the morale of the team was gone with the quarterback that we had. I really believe that. We did not feel like that with Kyle Van Treese. Even when Kyle Van Treese made a mistake, for the most part, he corrected the mistakes, but the team kept believing in him. And I don't feel the same that they did about Davis Brent. I just don't. But like I said, that's a whole nother story I'm not going to get into today, but hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Coach Clay Helton had a very good signing day? You think it's up to par, or you think it's below par? Do you think that Coach Clay Helton still needs to go? I think he can make a case for it, but I don't think he's going. I think he's going to get one more year, and I think that this is the year that he may turn things around. Hopefully, we'll finally get that 8-win or 8-win plus, or season, and we can get this team back on the right track. All right, y'all. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. Also on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. The website's firstandframerates.com. Find me on X, where I don't talk about everything that I talk about things that don't make it to the show. On there is at VF Baller, and PayPal and Cash App links are below if you want to support the show. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.